You must understand the truth about love and desire, the truth that has always been working beneath the surface of your life. The truth is that the one you love is not separate from you. Their heart does not beat independently from the reality you hold within. It is your consciousness that creates the bond, your inner assumption that forms their feelings, your imaginal act that commands their affection. Your desire is not a request you send into the unknown. It is the very authority that shapes their behavior, their thoughts, their longing. When you realize this, you will no longer wonder if they love you. You will know that they cannot help but respond to you because you are the operant power and they are the reflection of your inner world. Everything you feel within about your specific person is creating an echo inside them. The words you speak silently in imagination become whispers in their soul. The images you construct behind your closed eyes become the scenes that play in their mind. When you imagine being deeply, passionately loved by them, you are not hoping for that experience. You are commanding it into existence. Their heart is obedient to the one who imagines, for consciousness alone is cause, and consciousness is who you are. Your SP thinks of you when you think of them with assurance. They crave you when you inwardly claim that you are desired. They move toward you when you assume that they cannot resist you. You are not trying to convince them to love you. You are reminding yourself that they already do. There is only one relationship, the one between you and your imagination. Everything else is its shadow. When you understand that, you will stop looking for signs and start creating results. You will stop waiting for messages and instead speak the message in your mind that they adore you, that they choose you, that they are drawn irresistibly to you. Your inner conversation is the only true communication. Every time you replay memories of heartbreak, doubt, or rejection, you are instructing their heart to withdraw. But the moment you choose a new assumption that you are the one they love, the one they think about, the one they are committed to, the entire story changes instantly. They must obey because they are molded by your consciousness. You are not manifesting a stranger with a mind of their own. You are revealing the version of them that matches your desire. You are calling forth the reality in which they are perfect for you, devoted to you, loyal to you, obsessed with you in the most beautiful way. Do not ask when it will happen. Do not ask how they will change. Time and logic are powerless compared to imagination. What you feel real within is already true in the unseen. The moment you feel loved by them, the moment you claim your place in their life as unquestionable, unseen, forces begin to move. Their heart begins to shift, subtly at first, then overwhelmingly, until they cannot remember a life where they did not want you. Stop telling stories of fear. Stop repeating the narrative that they have free will to choose someone else. There is only one will, the will of your imagination. What you assume about yourself in relation to them is the destiny both of you must live. Every doubt is instruction. Every fear is a command. Every confident assumption is a decree. You are the ruler of the kingdom of love within your mind, and your SP is the loyal subject responding to the throne of consciousness. So if you want them to love you more today than they did yesterday, go within and feel the thrill of their affection. If you want them to reach out, imagine the joy of reading their message. If you want them to chase you, create the inner scene where they cling to you with desire. Your SP's heart obeys your desire because your desire is not a wish, it is law. You are not asking them to love you. You are deciding that they do. You are not waiting for them to choose you. You are choosing the version of reality where you are already chosen. Feel the truth now. They admire you. They think of you constantly. They talk about you with excitement. They want your presence, your attention, your love. See the world through the eyes of someone who already has the relationship, not someone trying to get it. And watch how quickly they shift, how inevitably they move, how powerfully they respond to the silent command of your assumption. For their behavior, their emotions, their longing for you, all of it is simply consciousness, obeying the one who imagines. You must first grasp a truth that is often hidden behind the noise of your mind, a truth so profound that it changes the way you see every relationship, especially the one you desire. Your specific person is not separate from you. From the moment you think of them, imagine them, or feel any emotion connected to them, their heart and mind are responding to the invisible currents of your consciousness. This is not a metaphor. It is the principle that governs all relationships and every experience you have ever had. Every look, every word, every act of attention or affection is a reflection of the state you hold within. They are not acting independently, not moving freely through the world in some arbitrary fashion. Their emotions and decisions are shaped by the reality you have created within yourself. This reality is subtle, unseen, and often overlooked, but it is absolute and unerring in its effects. The separation you perceive is only in your senses, only in the story you tell yourself about how love and attraction must work. In truth, their feelings for you, their longing, their admiration, their obsession, all come from what you assume to be true inside. You cannot change them from the outside. You can only influence them from within, and the influence is irresistible. You are not pleading for affection or trying to win over someone with persistence or logic. You are revealing to them what is already true in the invisible world you inhabit. They are the mirror in which your inner convictions are reflected. When you feel that they are distant, that they may not care, that they might choose someone else, you are projecting a reality they must reflect. Conversely, when you assume they are devoted, when you see their love as constant, when you imagine their heart beating only for you, that is what manifests. This is why the imagination is more real than the senses. What you see with your eyes may deceive you, but what you feel in your mind is always obeyed by the universe, and by extension, by your SP. Your specific person is a living mirror. Their heart is not a wild entity moving with chance or free will in the way the world seems to suggest. Their heart is obedient to the unseen law that consciousness creates. Every thought you entertain about them, every feeling you nurture, every mental image you hold of being loved, forms an unbroken thread that connects to their heart, guiding it to respond. When you imagine them thinking about you, they begin to think about you. When you imagine them longing for you, they begin to long. When you imagine them embracing you, calling you, texting you, or expressing their devotion, that is the invisible script that they act out in the world. Your SP does not resist the reality that you assume, because your assumption is law. You may have been conditioned to believe that their thoughts and emotions are entirely independent, that you must convince them, persuade them, or influence them from without. This is the illusion. The truth is that they are always under the influence of your inner world. If you desire their love, you must first embody it, feel it, see it, and accept it within yourself. Your SP is simply the reflection, the external mirror of that invisible state. They are responding, not because they are being manipulated or coerced, but because reality itself moves in harmony with consciousness. You do not need to chase, question, doubt, or beg. You do not need to win arguments, compete for attention, or impress them with your presence. All that is necessary is to hold the assumption that they are already yours, already devoted, already obsessed with the idea of being with you. When you maintain that state consistently, unwaveringly, your SP begins to align naturally with that inner truth. Their feelings, words, and actions are merely the physical manifestation of what you have imagined. The more vivid and real your inner conviction, the faster the reflection becomes tangible. They will begin to respond to the world as if your assumption were already the reality. They will seek you, notice you, remember you, and express affection spontaneously. This is the invisible law in motion. What you assume to be true becomes true. The key is understanding that your SP is not separate, that their mind and heart are not wild, independent forces you must tame. They are reflections of your consciousness, and the only way to influence them is by changing what is real within you. You must see them as already devoted, already loving, already irresistibly drawn to you. You must embody that reality in your imagination so completely that it becomes the only reality you know. The moment you do this, your SP must obey, because love, desire, and attraction are obedient to consciousness alone. They are not responding to chance, persuasion, or circumstance. They are responding to the reality you hold inside. When you realize this truth, you will see the futility of trying to force, chase, or reason with them externally. All action, all change, all desire begins within. Their heart follows yours. It does not precede it. Their choices mirror your assumptions. They cannot be otherwise. Your specific person is not separate. And once you truly understand that, you will no longer live in fear, doubt, or uncertainty. You will no longer wait for signs or confirmation from the outside world. You will create the reality you wish to see, and their heart, naturally and inevitably, will reflect it. Their love, attention, and devotion are obedient to the reality you assume. They are not free in the way you might imagine, because your consciousness has already shaped their desire. The only freedom you have is in the choice of what to feel, imagine, and assume. The more certain you are in your inner world, the more quickly and completely your SP's heart aligns. This is the profound secret. They are not a stranger with a mind of their own. They are the reflection of your inner world, waiting to respond to the authority of your assumption. The moment you feel secure, desired, and loved in your imagination, that is the moment their heart begins to beat in harmony with yours. Your imagination is the only true communication that exists between you and your specific person. Every spoken word, every text, every attempt to convince or persuade them from the outside is secondary and powerless compared to what you feel, see, and believe within. It is not what you say to them, it is what you hold in your mind that shapes their response. The inner world is the source, the outer world is merely the reflection. When you imagine them loving you, when you feel the delight of their attention, when you see yourself embraced, cherished, and desired, that is the true conversation that molds reality. You do not need to argue, debate, or even reason with them, because imagination is infinitely more potent than logic. The unseen dialogue, the silent interplay of thought and feeling, is where their heart is shaped. Every moment you entertain doubts or fears, you are communicating with them, instructing their mind to withdraw, to hesitate, to resist. Every time you replay images of neglect, disappointment, or lack, you are sending a message that becomes manifest. The world responds not to what is said, but to what is believed, and the deepest belief is felt in the imagination. When you understand this, you will stop trying to control the physical reality through words and actions, and instead focus entirely on the unseen, the invisible, the true conversation that is already shaping their thoughts and emotions. You will no longer rely on their expressions, their gestures, their approval. You will know that their heart is already being guided by the script you hold in your mind, and nothing they do can prevent the inevitable outcome of your assumption. To communicate effectively with the one you love, you do not need arguments, explanations, or justifications. You need to dwell in the reality where you are loved, accepted, and adored. You must feel their longing as if it already exists. Hear their words of devotion in the theater of your mind, and see their actions of love as though they are happening now. That is the only conversation that matters. This is why the imagination is not a fantasy or wishful thinking. It is the language through which all hearts speak. It is the bridge between you and your SP, the invisible cord that links your consciousness with their response. You cannot fail when you master this inner dialogue. The more vivid, detailed, and convincing your inner conversations are, the faster and more completely the external reality aligns. Your SP's thoughts, words, and actions are not random or independent. They are a reflection of the unseen dialogue you maintain. Every thought, feeling, and image you hold within is a command that shapes the outer world. You may not always see it immediately, but the inner conversation is always active, always influencing, always creating the response you desire. This is why waiting for external signs is futile. Signs are merely echoes of what you already believe. They do not create, they confirm. The creation occurs in the imagination, where the true communication takes place. When you imagine them thinking of you, it becomes true. When you imagine them longing for you, it becomes true. When you imagine them reaching out, sending messages, expressing love, it becomes true. This is not magic, it is law. The only power you have over any relationship lies in your ability to imagine and feel. That is the real conversation, the only one that matters, the only one that shapes reality. You will notice that as you maintain these inner conversations consistently, your SP's actions will begin to mirror what you have imagined. They will start to behave in ways that reflect the dialogue you have held within your mind. They will think of you when you think of them. They will long for you when you imagine them longing. They will reach out when you imagine the joy of their communication. It is automatic, inevitable, and precise. They do not resist because they are responding to a higher order of communication, one that is invisible, unbroken, and certain. Your imagination is not a wish. It is a directive, a command that reality obeys without hesitation. When you feel the truth of their love, see yourself adored, and know they are devoted, that is the moment the unseen conversation begins to dictate the visible world. You do not need to question, doubt, or try to influence externally. The heart always obeys the imagination. This is why patience and faith are essential. The unseen dialogue must be uninterrupted. Every moment you return to fear, worry, or longing for proof, you interfere with the natural flow of communication. Instead, dwell in the certainty of your desired outcome. Speak to your SP in the theater of the mind. See their devotion as already existing. Hear their words of love. Feel the joy of being desired. And that is the conversation that compels them to respond. This inner dialogue is not affected by time or circumstance. It is timeless, eternal, and absolute. The outer reality is simply catching up to what you have already established in your consciousness. You must recognize that you are never imagining for yourself alone. Every image, every feeling, every inner word you hold is immediately transmitted, invisibly, to the mind and heart of your SP. The more real and tangible it feels to you, the stronger the communication, the faster the reflection manifests. The imagination is not passive. It is active, alive, and powerful beyond any spoken word or action. It is the ultimate means of connection, the language of the heart that the outer world cannot replicate. Every fleeting thought about their doubt, their delay, their indifference weakens the dialogue. Every sustained vision of their love, attention, and desire strengthens it. The heart follows the script, the mind enacts the play, and the reality you see becomes the reflection of what you have imagined. You are not hoping for a response. You are issuing a command that cannot fail. You are not waiting for love. You are acknowledging its presence in the invisible world, where all creation begins. The inner conversation is where the law of attraction is perfected, where desire is fulfilled, and where your SP's heart begins to respond. Words, gestures, and external signs are only manifestations, shadows of the true dialogue you maintain. When you master this, when you speak fluently the language of imagination, You will see your SP moving in harmony with what you feel, think, and assume. Their heart becomes an extension of your consciousness, their actions, the mirror of your inner words, and their devotion, the reflection of the reality you hold. This is the only communication that matters. Your desire is not a plea, not a wish, not a hope. It is a command that the universe and your specific person cannot resist. So long as you approach love as something to earn, as something to negotiate for, or as something that depends on circumstances outside of you, you are working against the very law that governs attraction. Desire, when truly felt and imagined as fulfilled, is authority. It is the invisible force that shapes reality. Your SP's heart is obedient, not because of manipulation or persuasion, but because desire, when embodied and assumed, is irresistible. To assume that they cannot help but love you is to issue a command that reality immediately answers. Every doubt, every hesitation, every moment of uncertainty is a reversal of this command, and every moment of vivid, unshakable assumption strengthens it. You do not have to convince them, persuade them, or prove yourself worthy. You do not have to follow them, chase them, or earn their attention. You must only maintain within yourself the certainty of their devotion, the joy of their love, the depth of their longing. That is all that is required. When you feel desire in this way, fully, without questioning, without analyzing, it is no longer desire in the sense of lack. It is not "I wish they loved me," or "I hope they will notice me." It is "they love me, they desire me, their heart beats for me." It is the feeling of fulfillment that carries with it the absolute law of attraction. Desire, when imagined as already accomplished, does not ask. It commands. Your consciousness is the throne, and your SP's heart is the reflection of that throne. They may appear indifferent, distracted, or unavailable, but these are merely shadows of old assumptions that have no power against the living force of your felt reality. The moment you embody desire as already satisfied, you issue an invisible decree that begins to work in the unseen. Your SP begins to move in response, without effort, without persuasion, without you asking. Their thoughts, actions, and emotions align with what you have assumed. This is the nature of desire. It does not negotiate. It dominates. It does not wait for consent. It compels obedience. You do not need to manipulate circumstances or orchestrate meetings. You do not need to argue for attention, proof, or reassurance. The world will adjust itself to your inner state, and your SP will act as the mirror of your assumption. The key is the feeling, the inner certainty, and the mental imagery that convinces you that what you desire is already real. To desire in this way is to act as the cause, not the effect. You are not hoping for love, you are claiming it. You are not asking for devotion, you are acknowledging its presence in the unseen world. Every imagined scene, every inwardly spoken word, every embraced feeling of possession is a command. Every mental image of your SP thinking of you, longing for you, or expressing affection is an act of law. You are not creating it externally, you are revealing it from the invisible. The SP responds not because they are forced, but because the reality you assume cannot fail to express itself. Your desire, when accompanied by the feeling of fulfillment, does not compete with their will. It overrules it, not in coercion, but in inevitability. The law of consciousness is absolute. What you feel as true within must manifest outside. Therefore, the more real your inner desire, the stronger the command and the faster the manifestation. Desire is not just wishful thinking, it is law in action. It does not bend, waver, or negotiate. It moves unseen forces, aligns events, and orchestrates circumstances. Your SP's heart is simply part of the expression of that law. When you assume that they cannot resist your love, that they are drawn irresistibly to you, and that their devotion is unwavering, you are issuing a command that works beyond time, space, and circumstance. Their actions, words, and emotions will eventually catch up with the invisible reality you hold. This is why doubt, worry, and fear are so dangerous. They are reversals of the command. They are signals to the universe that the desire is not yet fulfilled. The moment you recognize this, you stop trying to push or pull them into your life from without. Instead, you turn inward, live in the satisfaction of the desire fulfilled, and allow the law of consciousness to do the work. Desire becomes irresistible when you are no longer needy, anxious, or dependent on external validation. It is strongest when it is self-contained, when the joy of being loved is already felt and imagined. Your SP cannot help but respond to this force, because it is not influenced by persuasion, circumstance, or external effort. It responds to the authority of your inner state. You are not waiting for permission. You are not asking for compliance. You are declaring a reality that must express itself. The more detailed, vivid, and convincing your imagined experience, the more powerfully it acts as a command. Feel them longing for you. Feel their attention focused on you. See their devotion as unwavering, and you are issuing a law that cannot be broken. Desire, when assumed and felt as already accomplished, does not fade, cannot be resisted, and acts instantly. Your SP's heart must obey because it is responding to reality as it exists in the invisible world, a reality that you have established. The outer world, the body, the words, the actions are merely instruments responding to the unseen authority of your assumption. Nothing external can prevent what is already real in consciousness. You do not manipulate, you decree. You do not chase, you embody. You do not hope, you know. Desire, when realized inwardly, becomes irresistible law. The SP cannot help but align. They may resist temporarily in the physical world, but the heart is never deceived. It responds to the inner truth, and that truth is the reality you hold within. When you fully grasp this, you stop trying to bend reality and start living as though it is already what you want. You act, think, and feel as the fulfilled lover. You no longer wait for evidence. The evidence must now follow your assumption. Every moment you dwell in the certainty of desire fulfilled, you strengthen the command. And every action of your SP becomes the reflection of that certainty. Desire is not a hope. It is the invisible decree that shapes love, attention, and devotion according to the law of consciousness. It is the key, the authority, and the power that brings the heart of your SP into obedience without effort or struggle. You must understand that the version of your specific person you experience in the outer world is a direct reflection of the reality you hold within. You do not create them, you reveal them. The one you love is not separate from your consciousness. Their thoughts, feelings, and actions are always mirroring the state you assume. When you focus on lack, doubt, or fear, that is the version of them that manifests. When you focus on devotion, longing, and irresistible attraction, that is the version that comes forth. You are not trying to change them from without. You are aligning yourself to the version of reality in which they already embody your desire. This is why imagining them as indifferent, distant, or unavailable only reinforces that very reality. The outer world is obedient to your inner state. To change what they do, think, or feel, you must first change what you assume about them. You cannot force, argue, or reason with them externally in a way that creates the reality you desire. The only power that truly shapes the heart, mind, and actions of your SP is the assumption you hold within your consciousness. Every moment you dwell on their devotion, every time you feel the satisfaction of being desired by them, every image you construct of their longing, you are calling forth the version of them that matches your desire. This is the essence of conscious creation. The outer world is a mirror reflecting the inner world. Your SP is no exception. They are not random, not unpredictable, not controlled by chance or circumstance. They are a faithful reflection of the reality you entertain. If you see them as faithful, devoted, and irresistibly drawn to you, that is exactly what they must become. If you see them as inattentive, hesitant, or indifferent, that too is inevitable. This is why your focus, your attention, and your imagination are the only tools that matter. You must imagine with unwavering conviction, feel with total certainty, and live in the reality where they already exist as the perfect embodiment of your desire. The more detailed and real this version feels to you, the faster it becomes mirrored in their thoughts, actions, and feelings. Every imagined conversation, every inwardly felt moment of intimacy, every scene in which they express love and desire is a thread that weaves the fabric of the reality you will experience. Your SP is not outside this web. They are at its center, moving according to the patterns you hold in consciousness. You do not hope to persuade them. You have already persuaded the universe. You do not wait for proof. The proof must now follow your inner assumption. This is why imagination is not mere fantasy or daydreaming. It is the ultimate tool of creation, the channel through which the heart of your SP aligns with yours. You are not dreaming them into existence. You are revealing them. You are not seeking love. You are acknowledging what is already present in the unseen, waiting to manifest in the tangible world. Every thought you repeat, every feeling you entertain, every mental image you focus upon is reinforcing a version of them. To experience the one you desire, you must choose the version that matches your longing. Choose the version where they are devoted, where their attention is fixed on you, where their heart is inseparably drawn to yours. Do not allow old habits of doubt, fear, or longing for proof to weaken this assumption. These are instructions that create the opposite of what you want. Instead, dwell in the certainty of the reality you wish to see. Picture them thinking of you with delight, missing you with intensity, craving your presence, expressing their love in word and action. Live in the sensation of having them fully, completely, without question or resistance. Every detail counts. Their gaze, their smile, the warmth of their voice, the excitement of their messages. These details are not for fantasy, they are the tools of conscious creation. The more precise and vibrant your inner assumption, the more accurately your SP's heart will reflect it. They cannot resist this version because it is the only version that exists in your consciousness, and reality cannot help but obey consciousness. You do not struggle for attention. You do not fight for affection. You do not convince with words or actions. You embody the truth of what you desire, and the world, including your SP, conforms to that truth. This is why practicing vivid mental scenes, dwelling in the feeling of possession, and assuming the love and devotion of your SP as already yours is so crucial. Every image you hold internally becomes a magnet, drawing the external reality to align with it. The version of your SP that you experience is never separate from the version you imagine. They are a faithful mirror, reflecting exactly what you believe, assume, and feel. You must therefore guard your inner state. If you feel doubt, jealousy, or fear, you are calling forth the version that embodies those qualities. If you feel satisfaction, certainty, and irresistible attraction, you are calling forth the version that loves, adores, and desires you. Consciousness is the cause. The SP is the effect. You do not need to manipulate, question, or test. You need only assume, feel, and imagine. The outer world cannot resist the authority of your inner reality. They will think, act, and feel according to the version you hold in your mind. The more real and tangible this version is to you, the more inevitable it becomes. You are not creating them. You are revealing the truth of what has already been imagined. Every action, every word, every glance, every gesture that you see from them is a reflection of what you have assumed. They are not independent. They are a mirror. They cannot help but respond to the reality you maintain within. Therefore, choose wisely the version you wish to experience. Focus on devotion, desire, and irresistible attraction. Feel it in your body, live it in your mind, and the external world, including your SP, will conform. Your assumption is the law. Their reflection is inevitable.